Ghita, a teenage girl, lived in a quiet, charming town that was tucked away between undulating hills and bright forests. She was a bright, perceptive young lady with a voracious appetite for information. Ghita's sanctuary was the neighborhood library, where she enjoyed spending her leisure time. She might escape into a world of creativity and knowledge among the soaring bookcases and comfortable reading nooks there. Ghita thought that books were more than just things that contained words. They served as doors into other worlds, people who became her friends, and mentors who helped her along the way. For her, no book was too difficult. She would ascend the library ladder, stooping to retrieve the books that caught her eye from the top of the shelves. Ghita was fascinated by all the various topics the library has to offer and was eager to learn more about them all. Knowledge had no boundaries for her. She had the impression that every time she opened a book, she was doing so in a magical way, unlocking a door to a world of possibilities. Ghita's passion for reading was evident, and she was aware that others could gain from them as well. She enjoyed expressing her love of reading to her friends and other interested parties. She would read aloud to the children in order to attract their attention and encourage independent reading. For Ghita, books were a means of exploration and change, a way to feed her spirit and mind. Ghita used the library for more than just to enjoy her love of reading. Additionally, it served as a safe haven for her to discover novel concepts and universes. She found refuge in the library and felt at ease there. Ghita was enthralled by the serene atmosphere as well as the countless discoveries waiting within. She was determined to uncover the solutions since she was aware that the library was home to some of life's most pressing concerns. Ghita's passion for reading and her deep love of the neighborhood library had a significant influence on not just her life but also the lives of everyone in her vicinity. Children of all ages congregated in the library, lost in the pages of their own personal worlds, making it a hive of knowledge and enthusiasm. Ghita's love of reading spread to others, encouraging them to consider the library as a doorway to adventure, knowledge, and intellectual pursuit rather than merely a location to check out books. Ghita had a passion for reading and libraries that was unmatched. She saw enchantment, wonder, and boundless discovery in the library. Every time she would go to the library, and even after it was closed, she would beg her parents to take her back. The library was her home away from home no matter where life led her. From an early age, books captivated Ghita. They provided her with much more than simply amusement. Every book she read was a fresh doorway into a new world, full with interesting people, places, and adventures. With each page turn, she had the impression that she was being taken to a different era or location. Ghita pored over books for hours, absorbing up all the wisdom and information she could. She read a wide variety of literature, from classic novels to non-fiction works on science, history, and the arts, due to her insatiable curiosity. She saw the library as a place of limitless opportunity and knowledge. The library gave Ghita a place to retreat from the pressures of everyday life and be surrounded by the limitless potential of literature. Ghita could enjoy her passion of books in the library's soaring bookcases, comfortable reading nooks, and serene ambience. Ghita's interest in books extended beyond merely reading them. She enjoyed the physical qualities of books, from the way the pages felt in her hands to the musty aroma of the vintage tomes she adored reading. The cadence of turning the pages and the sense of adventure that followed with each new chapter would engross her. Ghita came to understand the value of lifelong learning through her passion for reading and her local library. The library evolved into a portal to countless opportunities for learning and development. She discovered the fun of learning new things and sating her curiosity, and she carried this enthusiasm into all facets of her life. One of Ghita's distinctive traits was her love of reading and the library. She thought of books as being more than just words on a page, they were gateways to exciting new worlds. She found a haven at the library where she could indulge her passion of studying and lose herself in the wonder of books. It was a location that had great meaning to her and would always hold that meaning. Books were far more than simply things to Ghita. They served as her friends, teachers, and sources of inspiration. Books served as doors to other worlds, viewpoints, and ways of thinking for her. Every book Ghita read enabled her to see the world from the perspectives of others. It wasn't just about the people, it was also about their narratives and the lessons they taught. Ghita thought that every book, whether it be about the world, society, or simply human nature, had something to teach us. She was able to view life from several perspectives and gain an understanding of the complexity of the world around her through the stories in books. Ghita believed that books had the capacity to change our lives and were more than just a source of enjoyment. She believed that reading may stimulate positive growth and transformation in others. They taught us important things in life, such as how to have greater empathy, comprehension, and compassion. When Ghita read, she'd feel as though she was living two lives, her regular one and the one she experienced through literature. She would experience all of the characters' emotions, including laughter and tears, because the stories were so realistic and relatable. She made friends with the characters, and she went on their travels. She had the impression that she was learning something novel and fascinating with each book she read. Books weren't simply things to Ghita, they offered the chance for personal growth, education, and development. She viewed them as resources for mental stimulation and self-transformation. She felt that books may alter the world by educating readers, allowing them to see beyond their current circumstances, and allowing them to consider new ideas. Ghita's passion for reading extended beyond her ability to read. It was about entering a world that was contained within a book's pages. Whether it was knowledge, pleasure, or a fresh perspective on the world, she believed every book had something to offer. Ghita, in sum, saw books as much more than just things. They served as entryways to creativity, learning, and personal development. She was able to interact with people, learn about the world, and live an exciting, wonder-filled existence thanks to literature. Ghita's love of books was a fundamental component of who she was, and she was unable to picture her existence without them. Ghita loved books more than she only read them. She also wanted to learn everything she could. She used books as a way to develop and broaden her thinking. She loved books and the variety of viewpoints they presented because of her desire to learn and explore. Ghita was not content to read books of any sort. She read widely, ranging from classic books to non-fiction materials on history, science, and the arts. She had an inquisitive mind and viewed each book as a chance to learn something new. She was a voracious reader thanks to her love of literature and hunger for knowledge. Ghita was not frightened to read demanding and difficult novels. She was a firm believer in pushing oneself outside one's comfort zone in order to learn more. She actively searched out publications that would push her intellectual boundaries and make her think outside the box. She had an advantage because of her desire and commitment to look for literature that could teach her new things and provide her new insights. She never ceased gaining knowledge, venturing, or developing. Because of her tenacity, she was able to learn about a wide range of subjects and expand her knowledge. Ghita stands out from other people because of the way she reads and her desire to learn everything there is to know. She was passionate in understanding and remembering information in addition to learning new things. Her passion for reading helped her learn new things and develop into a more informed and sympathetic person. Ghita loved books more than only for reading. She had a strong desire to learn and explore all areas of knowledge, which was a crucial component of her love of literature. She was determined to read difficult novels, and by doing so, she was able to broaden her knowledge and comprehension of the world. Her method of reading and studying set her apart from others and led her to pursue lifelong learning. Ghita couldn't help but spread the joy of reading to others because she liked it so much. She frequently shared books and stories with her pals by reading aloud to them. Her friends couldn't help but become engrossed in her enthusiasm for reading. Ghita would tell her pals about a book she had read and enjoyed right away. She encouraged her pals to read and try out other genres by lending them books. She had a great love of reading, and her excitement for books encouraged her friends to read more. Ghita's enthusiasm for reading aloud to her pals extended beyond simple storytelling. She frequently solicited her friends' feedback on the books they were reading and promoted group conversations. She would discuss the books she had read and the lessons she had discovered. Her pals believed they could accomplish the same thing, and they frequently found themselves exchanging personal anecdotes about how the books they were reading had changed their lives. Beyond simply her close group of pals, Ghita loved to spread the joy of reading. She volunteered at the neighborhood library and led kid-friendly reading groups. The kids were put at ease by her upbeat and sympathetic reading style, and they took pleasure in the stories she read aloud. Ghita's excitement for reading focused on fostering exploration as much as the act of reading. She frequently gave her pals book recommendations that went beyond what they imagined they would like. She had never led her friends astray, so they felt confident in the recommendations she made for books. Ghita's pals caught her excitement for reading aloud. She thought reading may improve empathy and change people's lives. Her enthusiasm for reading encouraged her companions to read more, and everyone enjoyed the experience thanks to her sympathetic narrative style. She had a strong desire to spread the joy of reading to others in addition to her love of reading. She was a pioneer in promoting literacy thanks to her reading philosophy. Ghita felt that reading may influence thinking and stimulate originality. Reading, in her opinion, can help people develop empathy and understanding. She firmly thought that reading may help us better understand the world and the people around us. Books represented more than simply words on a page to Ghita. They provided chances to develop one's critical thinking and inventiveness. She believed that reading may encourage individuals to confront preconceived notions, think creatively, and develop novel ideas. She believed that via reading, we may expand our worldviews and develop our critical and creative thinking. Ghita shared this belief in the ability of storytelling to instruct and enlighten. She thought that by telling tales, we may discover new information about people and cultures around the world and be motivated to pursue our own personal passions. She believed that telling stories is a crucial component of human communication and that the lessons we may learn from them can help us throughout our lives. Ghita loved books more than she only read them. She thought that books may be an instrument for social change, fostering empathy and compassion in readers. She viewed literature as a venue for tackling social issues, dispelling stereotypes, and fostering understanding amongst those from various origins. Ghita had a strong desire to spread her love of reading and encourage others to do the same. She thought that everyone should have access to books and that reading might transform a person's life. She organized reading groups for kids, volunteered at a nearby library, and encouraged her friends to read. Ghita thought that reading might mold people's minds, spark their imaginations, and encourage societal change. She believed that reading was a good method to test our views, increase our knowledge, and foster empathy in understanding. Her passion for reading motivated her to spread the joy of reading and promote literacy. She held that reading helped us grasp reality better and apply our knowledge to improve the world, not only as a means of escape. A significant part of Ghita's family life was reading. Her parents instilled a passion of reading in her from a young age when she was growing up. Before going to sleep, they would read to her, and she would frequently curl up on the couch with her siblings to read. Reading was a way for Ghita to connect with her family, and she treasured the times they spent together while reading. The parents of Ghita thought that reading was a crucial component of education and growth. They encouraged their kids to read books from a variety of genres and writers because they wanted them to have access to a wide variety of literature. They made sure there were enough of books in the house for the kids to read and took them to the library. Ghita and her siblings might also learn about the world through books. Her parents' frequent reading of literature about various societies and historical occasions increased their familiarity with and understanding of the world. Ghita and her siblings learned about empathy, compassion, and human connection from books, and these concepts shaped their ideals. The members of Ghita's family also bonded over books and similar interests. Over dinner or while outings with the family, they would frequently talk about the novels they were reading. They would discuss their thoughts on the plots, characters, and lessons they took away from the novels. These conversations fostered Ghita's personal development and assisted her in honing her critical thinking abilities. Ghita's family's leisure activities also demonstrated how important books were to them. They would frequently read as a family instead of watching television or playing video games. They would all take up a book and become sucked into the stories for hours, talking about them and inspiring one another to read more. A major component of Ghita's family life was reading. They gave her and her family a means of interacting, learning, and developing together. Ghita's parents made sure that their passion of reading was handed down to their children because they believed in the ability of books to teach and inspire. Ghita learned about empathy, compassion, and the value of human connection via books. They gave her a means of seeing the world and pushed her to question her moral principles. Ghita's parents had fostered a love of reading in her, and she carried this love with her throughout her life. For Ghita, reading was a chance to connect with nature in addition to learning new concepts and viewpoints. She discovered that reading books frequently transported her to various settings, where she would see herself in the presence of the natural world. Ghita was able to comprehend the natural world more fully by reading books about it. She enjoyed reading books on plants, animals, and landscapes because it increased her understanding of and awe for the natural beauty around her. She discovered the interconnectedness of all living things and the significance of preserving the environment through reading. Ghita treasured her outside reading time as well. She would frequently take a book and go outside to read in a park, on the beach, or in a forest. She discovered that being outside and surrounded by nature made her feel more at ease and motivated. Ghita was able to make a special connection between literature and nature thanks to her love of both. She discovered that reading nature-related literature might take her to many settings and motivate her to explore the natural world. She could withdraw from the surrounding world and enjoy a moment of peace and tranquility by spending time in nature and reading a good book. Reading gave Ghita the opportunity to interact with nature as well as learn new things and use her imagination. She was able to explore other settings through literature, and being outside encouraged her to look for more books about the natural world. She was able to connect with the world around her and learn to appreciate its beauty via her love of literature and the outdoors. Books have a special ability to introduce readers to various cultures and traditions. They present readers with fresh perspectives and present chances for personal growth and development. Ghita's experiences in Chapter 3 serve as an excellent example of the clear benefit books provide in learning about various cultures and traditions. Ghita gained fascinating insights into various cultures and traditions through reading books. She gained knowledge of international cuisine, fashion, and other facets of daily life. She was able to appreciate the distinctive beauty of each culture she encountered because of this. More significantly, she was able to observe how people from other backgrounds tackled opportunities, difficulties, and life in their own ways by learning about people from other cultures. Books also helped Ghita comprehend the political and historical context of various areas better. She studied accounts of the politics and cultural tenor of many nations from those who had really experienced them. As a result, she became more attuned to the subtleties of many cultures and was able to form her own opinions on them. Additionally, reading gave Ghita a way to interact with people from many nations and customs. She was able to share ideas, learn new viewpoints, and get a broader understanding of the human condition by reading and talking about books with other people. In general, books are an effective resource for comprehending and appreciating various cultures and traditions. They provide a channel for establishing connections between people of various origins. They also give people the chance to develop personally and evolve as they discover new perspectives on life. Literature is essential in fostering civil discourse and intercultural understanding by introducing readers to diverse cultures and viewpoints. Ghita's dedication to promoting reading is emphasized. According to Ghita, reading to children from a young age not only fosters their intellectual growth but also paves the way for a lifelong love of learning. Ghita is aware that reading exposes kids to fresh concepts and knowledge. It increases their vocabulary, critical thinking, and imagination. In addition, reading helps kids develop empathy and compassion as they learn about the struggles that fictional characters face. Encourage parents to incorporate reading into their children's daily routines is one of Ghita's main goals in her reading advocacy. She advises parents to begin by designating a particular time each day to read to their children, whether it be before bed or during meals. She advises parents to expose their kids to a range of books, especially those that emphasize inclusivity and diversity. Ghita supports having conversations with kids regarding the books they read as well. As a result, kids are inspired to reflect carefully on the stories they hear and refine their analytical and critical thinking abilities. Additionally, it gives kids a secure and encouraging setting in which to communicate their views and ideas. Ghita also acknowledges the importance of giving youngsters access to books in order to encourage a love of reading in them. She is in favor of funding school libraries more and promoting locally based initiatives that promote literacy. Ghita also exhorts parents to set an example by reading frequently themselves. According to her, children are more likely to fall in love with reading if they observe the adults around them doing it. Ghita's support of reading stems from her conviction that it is crucial for kids' intellectual growth and lifetime learning. Ghita exhorts community members, schools, and parents to prioritize reading and give kids access to literature. By promoting reading, Ghita hopes to cultivate a passion of learning and a community of people who respect learning and information. In addition to promoting reading, Ghita firmly believes that books have the power to transform people's lives. She is aware that reading can influence one's thoughts, feelings, and behavior and can motivate people to make positive changes in their own lives and the world. Ghita has personally experienced the impact that reading has had on her life. She was a voracious reader as a young girl growing up in Morocco, and books allowed her to cultivate a love of learning and widen her views. She was able to explore the world outside her personal experiences through books, which also gave her access to both modern and historical viewpoints on life. Ghita thinks that books can have a comparable effect on and transform people's lives, particularly those who may not have had access to education or exposure to different viewpoints. Reading may broaden horizons, inspire creativity, and foster empathy. Ghita also thinks that reading can motivate people to act and alter the course of history. She is aware that reading can help people become more aware of the problems in society and equip them with the knowledge and skills they need to bring about change. Ghita is constantly interested in promoting literacy programs and giving books to poor areas to spread her passion for books' capacity to alter lives. She holds that reading has the power to transform everyone and that it is our duty to spread this gift of knowledge to others who may not otherwise have access to it. Ghita's advocacy for reading is motivated by her conviction that books have the ability to transform lives. She understands that reading can change people, extend viewpoints, and motivate societal change. Ghita demonstrates a dedication to spreading the transformative gift of reading with others through her work to support literacy programs and distribute books to needy communities. Ghita's influence caused a change in how the neighborhood interacted with books. As more parents made reading aloud to their children a priority, youngsters developed a greater interest in reading and spent more time immersed in books. Additionally, educators like teachers and librarians were more committed to fostering reading both within and outside of the classroom. Early on, Ghita toured nearby schools and spoke with librarians and teachers about the value of reading to youngsters. She emphasized the role that reading can play in developing empathy, shifting perspectives, and gaining knowledge in order to highlight the advantages of reading that go beyond academic success. Teachers and librarians were motivated by her presentations to incorporate reading into their daily schedules and start setting aside time to read aloud to their kids. Additionally, teachers started organizing frequent trips to the neighborhood libraries where the kids may choose out books to read at home in order to encourage reading for pleasure outside of the classroom. Parents started to notice the growing enthusiasm for reading, and many of them began to read to their kids more frequently. A few people started neighborhood book clubs where people could meet to talk about books and share their love of reading. Ghita was crucial in highlighting the library's contribution to the neighborhood. She planned frequent author readings and arranged family literacy nights to get parents and kids involved in reading activities. In addition, Ghita organized literacy programs for kids of all ages in conjunction with neighborhood schools. Ghita's influence caused the community's interest in books to increase. Parents got increasingly interested in encouraging their kids' reading habits as more kids were introduced to the pleasures of reading. Schools and libraries, which act as centers for reading and knowledge exchange, also became more important to the community. Ghita's support of reading had a big effect on the neighborhood. She encouraged readers to prioritize reading among parents, teachers, and librarians and contributed to the development of a reading culture in the neighborhood. Her initiatives increased interest in books and rekindled a sense of the transformative power of reading. The promotion of the library as a haven for intellectual endeavors is where the library as a haven of intellectual endeavor begins, thanks to Ghita. People started to see the library as an important center for learning as she continued to promote reading and literacy in the neighborhood. She worked hard to bring in new customers, some of whom may have never been to the library before. Children, teenagers, and elderly were among the visitors, and Ghita frequently interacted with them to learn about their reading interests and requirements. Community members invested more in the library as their enthusiasm for reading increased. Many people started volunteering their time as volunteers at the library to assist with reading programs, book clubs, and other activities. In addition, several members of the community started giving books and other resources to the library because they understood how important it was to encourage a love of learning and literacy. Ghita put a lot of effort into transforming the library into a center for intellectual inquiry, providing materials and events that would engage people of all ages and interests. She ran writing workshops, book clubs, and author readings in addition to planning educational programming that addressed social and current affairs. These initiatives helped the library gain a reputation as a safe haven for intellectual inquiry. It developed into a venue where individuals might gather to study, contemplate, and debate novel concepts without criticism or condemnation. The community started to support and fund the library more liberally as a result of the growing love for books and the library. People realized that the library served a special purpose in the neighborhood by encouraging a love of learning and offering a space where people could further their intellectual interests. The library as a haven of intellectual endeavor draws attention to the rising interest for reading and libraries in the neighborhood. Ghita's efforts led people to see the library as an essential hub for education and intellectual research. A firmer foundation for scholarly inquiry and group learning was established as a result of the growing passion, which enhanced support for and financial support for the library. The theme of our tale, the library as a haven of intellectual endeavor, centers on the contribution that books made to enhancing the intellectual interests of young people in the neighborhood. Many kids' quest for information was spurred by Ghita's unrelenting commitment to inspiring a love of reading, which aided their intellectual development. Books are a great resource for kids because they pique their curiosity, broaden their vocabulary, and introduce them to fresh viewpoints. Ghita recognized this and worked relentlessly to encourage the usage of books in the community. Early on, Ghita put a lot of effort into encouraging the youngsters in her neighborhood to embrace reading. She read aloud to them, which piqued their curiosity for fairy tales, fables, and other types of children's literature. She also started story times at the neighborhood library, giving kids an opportunity to interact with books and understand the limitless opportunities that exist inside the realm of books. Children who frequently visited the library started to love reading and learned what genres of books they liked. They frequently took out books from the library and occasionally read aloud to one another there. They didn't take long to begin recommending books to their friends and siblings. Children's language and vocabulary skills also grew as they read more and honed their reading skills, which translated into better academic success. Additionally, reading to kids fosters strong critical thinking and problem-solving abilities, which advance their intellectual development. The children in the community benefited significantly and favorably from Ghita's work promoting reading. To sum up, children who are given a love of reading experience intellectual growth, the development of critical thinking abilities, and the exploration of new viewpoints. The research conducted for Chapter 5, The Library as a Haven of Intellectual Endeavor, emphasizes the value of books as indispensable tools for piquing children's intellectual curiosity and quenching their hunger for information.